Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the summary game of multiplayer game 98. Now, as usual, spoiler alert, if you do not want to know how the game went, do not watch this video and go to the first position of the playlist. The link is in here, but this time, as I said in the introduction to the actual game, I really encourage you to watch this summary. Okay, 1 second of silence to give you a chance to leave. Okay, so let's go. Why do I want you to watch the summary first? Because this game was horrible. This game was simply horrible. Well, horrible, maybe not like horrible. I had quite some fun playing this game, but overall balance of this game is just plain out horrible. This game is played with CTON rules, so basically you have to declare war on every single player you meet instantly. So there's no trading, there's no research agreements, nothing, no sharing information, no whispers. Basically all the information you can share is in public, so if you want to say something, you say it on TeamSpeak, on an open chat. So there's no scheming, no diplomacy, no nothing. You just fight to win the game. Now this brings to two huge problems. The first problem is city-state allies. You have no option to take away city-state ally from somebody else, because you instantly are at war with that person. And the most important thing, if somebody runs away in the game, you can't really ally against somebody because you're always at war with everybody. You can't really make any messages. So yes, you can openly say this guy is ahead and he has to be stopped, but you can't really team against somebody to stop him. No research agreements and just okay. But enough about that. So I'm playing with Twinsen and Kishumi 16, Mehran, Kleftor and Joy 4 Fingers. Civs in this game are Twinsen Netherlands and Kishumi 16, I actually don't remember what he has, I think Songhai or Germany or something like that. M3 got USA, Joy 4 Fingers got China, and Kleftor's got Poland. Yes, Kleftor on Poland in a game of always war. That couldn't work well, and it didn't, but let's focus on me. I got Shoshone. I was super happy that I got Shoshone. My capital was good, but not the best for the late game, cause there's no food. Yes, there's mountain. I plan on the copper, but there's no food for the late game. There's like no food, literally no food, just hills, couple of farms on hills, maybe on oases, a sheep, a plain, one farm on flat plains, and that's about it. So no food for the late game, so not really a chance to catch up in the late game. This is looking like a very strong production, capital of 20 pop. That's about it. But I didn't have really any other option to go, so I actually decided to plan on copper. But okay. So that's about the start game, and now let's continue actually who are my neighbors. Okay, so how it turned out, I had two neighbors that I really would not like to be close to. The first neighbor is China. Almost right next to me there's Joy 4 Fingers sitting on China, and on my north there's USA with M3. M3 and Joy are those players who play a lot of teamers, so they are really good at warfare and maximizing early production. So like ancient, classical, renaissance warfare, they're really good at it. And on top of that you get Chikunu next to you. I was like, oh no. So two fronts from the start of the game. Now I got Shoshone, so that's kind of nice. Now I've been a little bit greedy. You see New York and Fountain of Youth? Yes, USA had Fountain of Youth. And I was like thinking, okay, I saw the marble and I was thinking like, okay, let's not plant on the copper. Let's plant in here, so I can plant one more city in here to get the marble. I didn't saw the Fountain of Youth. So I did plant my city in here, but of course I couldn't plant another city in here because Washington beat me to it. So I missed that city. I had contested borders in here. So what I decided to do is to plant on top of his capital. There's a city somewhere in the northern here, right on top of his capital, and from turn 50 or even earlier, just war, 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 war. Now, there's a huge mistake I made. Well, huge mistake I made. It's kind of hard to tell if there was a mistake or not, but my assessment of threat in this game was USA first, China second. And of course, not mentioning the other parts of the world. Well, the threat assessment was like Kleftor, USA, China. But Kleftor I couldn't do anything about before I would take away those two threats first. So taking out Kleftor, not possible. So we leave USA and China. Now you're asking, why USA? The answer is quite simple. Fountain of Youth. He got Great Wall, he has a coastal capital on a mountain, he has a second coastal city, I don't know if on mountain or not, but a second coastal city, so that's a chance for a cargo ship between those two cities, and New York is sitting on Fountain of Youth, so the 10 extra happiness. And I was like thinking, no, that's just too much. You can't leave a guy with a great library capital on a mountain on coast with a second coastal city and a third city on the mountain with Fountain of Youth. No, you can't leave that guy at peace. You gotta wear him down with early war, either to just try to slow him down or try to kill him. So that was my conclusion. Yes, there would be two canoes in here, but Joey had like no hammers and he went for Petra. Quite risky in this circumstance, but I think he kind of knew that I thought that USA is the first threat and I had huge problems with USA, so he has like all the time in the world to build all the wonders that he needs, and I will not try to slow him down. And that was actually correct. I knew that I have to take, like, from those two threats that are quite large, both of them, I picked that USA needs to go down first. Is that a mistake? It's hard to tell. Probably yes. Okay, so here, this is the front line. And this is basically my explanation why I thought that USA is first. Well, first threat. This is his capital, sitting on a mountain with access to fresh water, quite a lot of freshwater hills that he can mine, a river on the other side, so another freshwater, cows, fish, second city on the marble, a river with jungle tiles, the Fountain of Youth, and the third city somewhere in there that sends cargo ships right and through to his capital. I really couldn't take, I thought for a second there that since I got an extra cash and I kind of have the momentum, I could wear down his capital, but no, that capital is quite hard to take with composites. It's on a hill, it's tradition, so extra combat strength and a lot of units that can just shoot from those hills, so only 2 units that can really shoot. So either you need to surround that capital and take it down, or you can't really take it fast. So as soon as I kind of figure out that for myself, I thought like, no, you cannot go 100% trying to take USA down. You need to put up libraries, national college and stuff like that to even think about having a chance for the late game. But I thought like with Shoshone plus Great Wall is such a nice combination, so I did want to sneak in Great Wall before going for a national college. First of all, because I had 2 very hard neighbors to deal with, and I had 2 canoes to deal with at some point as well. So I decided like Great Wall is a must in this situation. With such a scenario when I'm alone against 2 people, always war, I will need to have Great Wall to actually have a chance in this game. And I was kind of correct, and let me show you why I was correct about the Great Wall at least. Of course, this moment had to come into play at some point. So on turn 91, Mr. Joey Four Fingers decided to attack me with 2 canoes. Now most of my army is at the north fighting with USA. So 5 2 canoes, that sounds scary. But how did I manage to defend? Well, the answer to the question is quite simple. I got like 2 crossbows, couple of chariots, maybe 2 horses gonna be on this front, and that's about it. But it was more than enough to defend against Chukos. Now, Chukos are quite weak. They have a very little combat strength, much less than a crossbow. So they take a lot of damage. So I managed, thankfully, only thanks to Great Wall, I managed to win Shoshone coupled Great Wall because I had huge amounts of land that he needed to go through. So Shoshone plus Great Wall, extra combat bonus in my land. I could have defended against Chukonus from China, but that was not really helping me win the game, and was not really like slowing me down also on the other side, because I was trying to go to universities. Yes, I had to go to crossbows, but I was trying to get to university as fast as possible to get some science up and running. Of course, on the other side of the continent, whereas those Cleftor, Twins, and Shumi, they didn't really fight. I think Twins tried to attack Joey, but that's about it. They didn't work that well. But Shumi was like trying to take up, and Cleftor had all the peace in the world because he was like on the east, USA, and a couple of city-states, so not really like touching borders. Shumi on the west, behind a mountain range, so not really a chance to attack in the Asian classical era, theoretically. In the south, city-states, and there's China. So Cleftor was theoretically in the middle of the map, but at the same point he had no real threats. So he was like going with crazy food, crazy science, usual Cleftor game in this with these rules. So nobody was really trying to slow him down. And Shumi, like, instead of trying to slow him down early game, I don't know what got into his mind, but he was like, I'm gonna compete with Cleftor playing as Poland with science. That's a horrible idea, and I'm gonna explain it soon. But first, I want to show you how the game for me went later on. So I managed to take away the threat of Chukonus. He really didn't try to attack me later on. And I tried to use my eco science while fighting USA all the time. I was trying to take him down, finally. But it's like turn 92. Now let's skip to the moment that I actually managed to take USA down. Here we are. 80 turns later. Finally, I took Washington down. 80 turns of non-stop warfare. 80 turns of non-stop warfare. And I finally took Washington down. Of course, I try to build up economy at the same time. I have a lot of scientists saved up and so on and so forth. But still, 80 turns. Turn 172, I finally got Washington down. Turn 172, rocking on 480 science without research labs yet. I was so terribly behind at science. I think at this point I was like 20% behind Cleftor. Cleftor was just so amazingly ahead. But my situation in this game was just not that great. But I finally took Washington down. But that really does not matter that much for me. I just wanted to show you at what turn I finally took Washington down and how much did that cost me. So 80 turns more, turn 172, I finally take away my, well, the neighbor I started the world with first. And I'm rocking around 500 science at turn 172. At this turn, you probably want to like you want to be at the end of the tech tree basically at this turn and win space in like 10 turns. This is how far behind to a normal science timing I was because of that constant war from like turn 10. But okay, enough about this. I'm gonna skip to the last screenshot and I'm gonna try to explain one more time what basically happened in this game. So here we are, turn 189. Hello there, XCOM baby. So at this point, the question was like, can anybody do something against Cleftor? Of course the answer is not, and we GG to Cleftor. Yes, Cleftor is running around with XCOM on turn 189, quite a normal timing, plus building up spaceship parts. So Kleftor had like an absolutely peace game, like a normal game basically. Normal game, he would probably soon launch to space, and XCOM was probably only for fun, to just take away some of the capitals. So what happened in this game basically? Well, to summarize it, as I said, this is CTON rules, so that's always war. There's no way to try to team up against the leader. Now, any way to stop Kleftor playing as Poland was to attack him before Industrial Era. I try to explain that to people every single time. Shumi, I don't know why he's so stubborn about this, but he really can't get that. If somebody has a very nice game as Poland, and you have the same population, same hammers, you cannot possibly compete with Poland in the late game. You're asking why? Well, that's quite simple. Every single era they go, they get a free social policy, so they get rationalism fill out so much faster. That means so much more science, ideology tenants so much faster. Let's rephrase it one more. Classical, medieval, Renaissance, industrial, modern, atomic, information. 7 free social policies throughout the whole course of the game. That's 1 free tree, okay? You cannot compete with that, especially if somebody times something right. It's not so hard to go from Renaissance into industrial instantly. So if you time it right, you get 1 policy timed when you enter Renaissance, so that's opening rationalism, free tech secularism, then entering industrial, another free social policy. So when they enter industrial, it's a huge possibility they already have all the rationalist tech that they need, the Polish players, the players playing as Poland. So like trying to give Poland a peacetime when basically you have this mediocre Civ and Poland with the same land and same skilled players. There's no way, there's no mathematical way to compete with Poland, okay? You gotta slow them down. And when do you slow them down? Before Industrial Era. Shumi didn't get that. He tried to attack him with bombers, okay? And Kleftor was like, no problem, I'm gonna bulb to fighters. This is the difference. Like, Shumi put all his resources into trying to attack him with great war bombers. Okay, maybe he killed a couple of units, he take a couple of shots into his capital, but a couple of turns later, Kleftor, boom, fighters. Okay, GG, end of the game. This is basically how it works. So, if you like to watch 190, well actually 180 turns of constant warfare, go ahead and watch this game. But when it comes to like the game as a whole, this was a very terrible game. I'm like, there was no way of diplomacy, always war, TeamSpeak drama, arguments, and so on and so forth. I just want to warn you about that stuff, that happened in this game, so you can actually skip some of the parts. But if you like, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed almost every single game. I was just quite so disappointed at the outcome of the game because Kleftor was such a clear leader and nobody really tried to slow him down in any way, shape or form. Nobody. So that was quite disappointing on the other players, but on the other hand, just GG to Kleftor, very good performance as usual, good game and good game everybody basically. So this is how this game went. One more time I say, if you like to watch it, go ahead and watch it. I will totally understand if you will just skip around to a couple of the parts, like some of the fighting and some stuff, because this game was like constant war for 180 turns. And with a no clear shot at the leader of the game. So just 190 turns of constant warfare, trying to build up economy that was in the end absolutely useless, and at the end have no absolute influence on the leader of the game, and just doing nothing really to try to win. This is how this game went from my perspective. Though the game itself was quite fun, fighting was fun, killing USA was fun, trying to kill a couple of city-states from Poland was fun as well, and laughing my ass off at Joey arguing with twins was fun as well. So I invite you to watch the game anyways, and I will totally understand if you will not watch this game. So, thank you very much for watching, and best wishes. Oh! The position to the first position of the playlist. The link to the first position of the playlist is somewhere around in here. So, thank you very much for watching. Best wishes. Yours out.